Hey everyone, I figured now would be a really good time to do a gear shakedown considering that it's about 3 days before we're flying to Maine and starting our AT through hike. So this is going to be my gear. Mason might do another video with his gear, so let's get started. Starting with my shelter system, so I have the REI Co-op Quarter Dome SL1 tent. So the reason that I went with this one is because it weighs in a little bit over 2 pounds. And Mason actually has a 3-person tent that he's carrying that we both fit in. But we figured that it would be a good idea for me to have my own shelter just in case we get separated or if we decide we want to hike separately. So this one works very, very well. I got it for the 4th of July sale, so it was a good option for me. And I'll show you what this looks like pitched once we're actually in the woods. So next I am bringing a bear canister. This is the BV smaller bear canister. The reason that we decided to do this is just for environmental consciousness. We want to make sure that we're keeping animals away from the trail so that we're protecting the environment and protecting ourselves. So this one we're actually not planning on using a whole lot. We're hoping that this is just going to be mostly for food storage. Mason has a bigger bear canister that he's going to be using for the both of us. So I've also got some duct tape on the side of here, so hopefully it'll kind of deter animals from being able to see what's in here, but also if I need duct tape I can peel it off and use it, so that'll be good. I am not going to take my sleeping bag out, but I am keeping it in a Sea to Summit compression dry sack. So this one is the Big Agnes Sydney 25, which means that it is rated for 25-degree weather. Typically that means you'll be comfortable in about 35-degree weather. It's never quite as good as it's rated for. So this will be good. I'll have to keep it vented pretty well for the first several months of our AT through hike, but then once we get into the colder temperatures, I think this will be really nice. So for my sleeping pad, I actually got the Thermarest Neo Air, and the reason that I went with this one instead of the accordion looking foil Thermarest ones, the closed cell systems, is because I did have one of those and I actually do have it in my mail drop bin just in case I would like it. But I did not find it very comfortable at all. I have hip problems, and so trying to sleep on a closed cell system as a side sleeper was very difficult. Sleeping on my back is doable, but it can put a lot of pressure on the back of my hips. So ideally, the inflatable was going to be a better option for me. So I got this one at an REI garage sale. It was like 70% off of the normal price, so I did not buy this full price. I will say that. I probably wouldn't have if I wasn't massively on sale. So this one, it's inflatable. It takes about 20 breaths to blow it all the way up, which is kind of a pain, but I actually like it better at like 14, 15 breaths fullness, just so it's kind of a little bit more soft than firm. So it is kind of a compromise. Having to blow this up every night is going to be a chore, but I think the good night's sleep that I get from it will be worth it. So I have kind of a conglomeration of different things that we put together. So I have an MSR system, so I went ahead and got the MSR 8-ounce IsoPro fuel. But instead of having a stove system, I just got the pocket stove, and I kind of put together a mess kit with that. So the pocket stove, you've got these little arms that come out around it, makes it look like this. So your pot sits right here, and what you do is you go ahead and just screw this onto the top here. You open up the valve, fuel starts flowing, you light it, and then put your stove on top, and you can cook that way. So it's very simple, very light system. And I've got a pot to cook with, including the lid. And I've got a utensil. It's a spoon on one side, fork on the other. My favorite color, works out for everybody. All right, so for water filtration, I have the Platypus 4-liter water filter. So the way that this works is there are 2 bags in here. So one is a dirty bag, one is a clean bag. So you fill up the dirty bag with dirty water from the streams or creeks or whatever is available to you. It's got a tube that goes down to a small water filter, and then a clean tube that connects to the other end of the water filter, and a clean bag. So you hang the dirty bag above the clean bag, and gravity will filter it for you through that filter, and it actually filters 4 liters in 2 minutes. So it's really, really great. I really like this system. And we're also taking some backup iodine tablets just in case this water filter breaks or something happens to it. So this small little stuff sack, I've got a lot of stuff sacks and I just like the organization of it. So this small dry sack is a Sea to Summit dry sack, and it's got my electronic stuff in it as well as some luxury items. So it's got my headlamp in it, which is a black diamond. So this is gonna be one of those essentials. I'm actually probably gonna move this into the front mesh pocket of my bag so I can get to it if I need to, but for now, this is its home. I also have some extra batteries for the headlamp. Got a deck of playing cards in here, luxury item. And this actually also has pictures and descriptions of edible, forageable foods on it. So kind of a survivalist novelty. And I've got my power bank in here. So this is going to charge my phone up to 3 times. And because it's got this thing that, this is how you charge it. You're supposed to plug this into either a computer or a square and plug it into the wall, but it's flexible, which is both great and a pain in the butt. So because it does that, if you plug it into a square and it's not sitting on the floor, it will just kind of go like this and fall off. So I compromised and I got myself a USB cable. So I can plug this in to the USB here, see, like that. And then I can plug this into a square, and that's how I charge this thing. And I also have some power converters that I can plug into the end of this that plug into my phone so that I can charge it directly from this or from the wall. So this should be the only cord that I have to take with me. And in here I also have a little notebook that I got from the dollar store with little cactuses on it and a pen. So this is just going to be for me journaling or writing down thoughts, ideas, poetry, whatever strikes me in the woods. Okay, so for rain gear, I have this Duck's Back pack cover. It's 40 liters. So what this does is it's actually self-contained. So this whole thing comes out and it covers the entire back of your pack, and it's got a drawstring. So you pull the drawstring and it kind of suctions itself to the back of your pack and it keeps rain out. So really, because I have everything that can't get wet in dry sacks, I'm not so much worried about my things getting wet. I'm worried about the weight of the water soaking into my pack. So this is to help keep me from getting that extra water weight when it rains. Rain jacket. So I keep this outside of the stuff sacks for my clothing just because this has my rain skirt in a pocket. So rain pants are extremely hot, I found. So the rain skirt is a really great way to vent while it's raining and you're not having to wear basically a plastic bag over your legs when you hike. And then I also have a pair of gaiters in the other pocket, which are basically just little things that go over your ankles and your boots to keep water and rocks and mud and whatever else out of your boots. So I've got that in here. So if it starts raining, I keep this in the mesh front pocket of my pack so I can just yank it out and good to go if it starts to rain. Clothing, stuff sacks. I'm not going to pull everything out of here, but the reason I have 2 of them, one is for sleeping, one is for hiking. The reason I wanted 2 separate stuff sacks is because my hiking clothes are going to be nasty and I wanted to keep them away from my sleeping clothes if I could. I don't know if I'm going to keep this system the whole time, but I'm going to start with it and see if it works. So in these stuff sacks I have, in this one I've got 1 pair of socks, 1 pair of Caritrol wool base layer leggings, so if it's cold at night I can wear those, and then I've got 1 pair of track shorts and a short sleeve shirt in here. So these will be my sleeping clothes. Again, I might end up finding that this is way too much, but we'll see. And then in this one I've got a pair of pants, so hiking pants, mostly for the black flies in Maine because they bite and make you itch. I wanted to wear something to protect myself from the bugs. And then I have 2 pairs of hiking shorts, track shorts, 1 short sleeve shirt, 1 long sleeve shirt, and a down jacket. So in case it gets cold, I've got a puffy down jacket in here as well. So these are my 2 clothing sacks. Now I have an REI towel. I've heard that a lot of hikers end up actually ditching them after a little while, but I figured I'd start with it and see how I feel about it. Mostly I think that this is going to make my life easier if it rains, to try and kind of dry things off that need to be dry and then just hang this on the outside of my pack. But we'll see if I end up using it. Maybe I won't. For shoes, I have these a liter water shoes that I got from Amazon. Originally I wanted something that I could hike in while it rained to keep my boots dry. I don't think these are sturdy enough to hike in, so they'll probably just end up being camp shoes. But for those of you who have hiked before, you know it's super, super important to keep your feet dry. So after you've been hiking, you need to take your boots off and let your feet dry out, and these are super breathable. So these holes in the bottom actually go all the way through to the sole so that it's breathable and water can drain out of them. So these are extremely quick drying too, so they'll be perfect camp shoes. For boots, I can't tell you exactly what these are. I believe they're the Salomon Ultra Mid GTX something. But these ones, so they're not the most popular ones from Solomon, but they are a little bit lighter. So I like these. I went with boots because I wanted the ankle protection, the ankle support, because I have really weak ankles. They roll very easily. Usually don't hurt myself when I do that, but just to be safe, I wanted to start with these. But I also have a pair of trail runners to mail drop myself later, just in case I decide I want to go that route instead. This is a luxury item. I have a chair. It is the REI Co-op FlexLight chair. It weighs in at just about a pound, so it's very, very light. The first time that we went hiking in Red River Gorge, we kind of decided that it was not great that we had to sit on the ground. Finding a log was fine, but sitting on the ground all the time was didn't feel good on our aching backs. So we decided to pick up some chairs. So we'll see if we actually end up keeping these or ditching those as well. My Black Diamond trekking poles. These ones are, I got them on Amazon. They were a little bit cheaper than the ones at REI, but they work wonders for keeping pressure off your joints. So for me, with having hip issues, super important to be able to have that ability to put weight on my shoulders and wrists instead of just on my hips and knees. It kind of helps distribute that weight throughout my body, and I don't get so sore in one area. For my water bladder, I've got the Platypus 3-liter Evo. This just goes inside my pack so that, and this hose comes out and around so I can drink out of it. It gives me the ability to carry quite a bit of water on me at any given time. This is another luxury item that I'm taking. This is a Musica kalimba. So I wanted to take an instrument with me, and I thought about bringing a ukulele, but I wanted to do something a little bit more unique. So I decided to bring a kalimba. So it's also known as a thumb drum or a thumb piano. So you basically just take your thumbnails and strike down on the tines, and it makes music. So I'm learning to play this now. So you guys will get to see that progress as we hike. So to answer a question that we get all the time, are you packing? No, we are not. I don't have my CCW. I do have a home defense weapon, but it's never left my house. I'm not bringing a firearm with me. However, I do have this Frontiersman Bear Attack Deterrent bear spray. So it's got this little holster that sits right on the hip belt of my pack, so I can just yank it out if I need to. It's got a thumb lock on it, so if I need to use it, you just pull the thumb lock out, push down on the button, boom, you have bear spray. So this has been making my mom feel much better. I also have a couple little just survivalist items. So I've got a multi-tool that I'll be taking just in case something breaks and we need to repair it. I've got a Smith & Wesson pocket knife. These are just utilitarian. I don't think that anybody should go on a hike without a knife. And then a lighter. So this will be starting our fuel every night for cooking. We probably won't be doing campfires very often, but I don't know, don't rule it out. So for hygiene, this is my hygiene kit that I can just kind of grab out of my pack and take into the woods if I need to use the restroom. What it has in it is a small bottle of Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile soap, so for washing hands. It also has Purell hand sanitizer in it, in case it's a number one. And this is a bidet attachment for a water bottle. So we met with another couple who have hiked the AT twice, northbound and southbound. Both of them have done that each. And they said that the bidet is so much more convenient than having toilet paper. So we decided to give it a go. So this basically screws onto a water bottle. You squeeze the water bottle, it's got water that shoots out, and apparently it works really well. So TMI, we're gonna be giving that a go. But just in case, I'm also bringing some dried out baby wipes. They're really easy to rehydrate if you just put some water on them. So I'm gonna take these just in case that does not work out for me. So look forward to an update on that. And then this also has all of my feminine hygiene products in it. So we've got all the OB applicator-less tampons, and then I also have some panty liners in here too, just in case. And then I also have the Deuce #1 ultralight trowel for digging cat holes. Cover up your poop in the woods. So this stuff sack is for daily hygiene items as well as my first aid kit. So this has sunscreen in it. This is a teeny tiny little tin thing that I got from SandCloud, and it's actually reef safe sunscreen. So it's sunscreen that's not supposed to hurt wildlife in the water. It's zinc oxide and just some natural essential oils. So it's still not great to get in the water, but it shouldn't actually kill anything in the water. So this is what we'll be using for sun protection. We've got our iodine tablets in here for water filtration, just in case our water filter breaks. That will purify our water, make it safe to drink. Chapstick, dental floss, toothbrush. Just kind of flip it around, stick it like this. Toothpaste, and first aid kit. So I'm not going to take this whole first aid kit out of here, but what it has in it is Band-Aids, gauze pads, Leukotape. The Leukotape is to tape up blisters, or if I need to tape gauze pads onto something, a pair of blue gloves, just in case we need those, ibuprofen, Benadryl, safety pins, and some one-a-day women's vitamins. There are also some little pouches of antibiotic ointment, sting and bite relief, and alcohol wipes. So just a teeny tiny little first aid kit, just enough to get us through from one town to the next in case something happens. So also I'll be taking a bandana and a buff. So the bandana is good as a tourniquet in case, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, hopefully you don't need it as a tourniquet. It does work for one, but it's mostly just for a multi-purpose. If you need a little rag or you need to tie something, these work really well. And then the buff is for sweat, and also to hide my hellacious hair after a couple of days. So this really just keeps sweat out of my eyes, and I can also use it around my neck for sun protection. So it's just kind of one of those multi-use small pieces of clothing as well. Last but not least, my pack. I have the REI Flash 45. So this pack, I mean, the only thing that could be a little bit more convenient is if there was another access pouch. The only access that you have to the main pouch is through the top. So if you've got something on the very bottom of your pack, you have to take everything out to get there. But other than that, this pack is great. There's tons of storage. It's very, very light. It's got the aluminum frame in it so that it's really, really sturdy. I find it super, super comfortable around my hips. So this is just an all-around great pack. I did remove the brain from it because I didn't see myself needing it for anything. So to save some weight, I went ahead and removed the brain. It's got this mesh pocket in the front where I can stuff like literally anything. Like this pocket, this mesh is very, very stretchy, and you can stuff a ton of things in here. So that's all my gear. That's everything. So I'll see if Mason wants to do his own video, but if you guys have any questions or anything, let us know. I'll let you know after a couple weeks what we actually end up keeping, what we ditch, what we send home, what we asked to send to us, and kind of see how we did. But this is our first major hiking trip, so we're kind of going in a little bit blind. We've only done one backpacking trip before, and it was 4 days and 17 miles. So going in totally blind, but fingers crossed for us.